Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Carbootcrafter, and I'm coming on today with this sweet little Concertina tag album, which is so simple you can make it in an afternoon, and that probably includes decorating it as well. So you've got your front cover, which is chipboard or grey board in this case. Then you open it up and you've got 4 pockets for your tags. I've got 1 tag in each pocket, but you can put as many in there as you like because there's plenty of room to fit lots of tags in there. So that's that side. I'm going to decorate these up a little bit more, but they are a present for someone. This is a present for somebody. So I haven't completely decorated it just yet because I want to personalise it to them. And then on the back, you've got some more space where you can put some photo mats or journaling spots, whatever takes your fancy. So let me show you how to make it. So you'll need some 12 by 12 papers, 2 sheets of 12 by 12 papers in total, and the first one we're going to use to cover the chipboard that we're going to use for the front and back of the album. I've already done one because you don't need to see me doing 2, but you'll cut your chipboard to 7 7/8 by 4 1/2. Okay, and that's in inches. 7 7/8 by 4 1/2 inches, and then your 12 by 12 paper that you're going to use for your cover, cut by 6 by 9 1/2. 9 1/2. Let me just double check. That's, is it 8 1/2? Yeah, 9 1/2. Sorry, mine just wandered there for a minute. And keep that because you might use that later on for decorating up your album. And very simply, just glue your grey board, in this case, onto your paper. And in case anyone's wondering, this grey board has come from the back of an envelope. Whenever they come through like that, if they've gone beyond reusing, then what I will do is just take the grey board off and use it for projects like this. Right, I like to use wet glue, but the choice is entirely up to you. Lots of people will use tape, I get that. I just don't trust tape because I've had a few projects that after a few months or what have you, they've fallen apart. So I do prefer to use wet glue. The drawback with wet glue, especially when you are using recycled grey board like I am here, is where the top layer has been exposed, it's very, very thirsty. So you do have to put on a generous amount of glue. Not quite so bad on the bit that hasn't been disturbed yet, although that can be thirsty as well. Right, so I've popped plenty of glue on there, and I'm going to make sure I've got the right side. Yeah, and pop it in the middle of my paper. There we go. Now normally I would leave this to dry, but obviously I haven't got time to do that because I'm sure on my camera I can pause and all sorts, but I still haven't worked it out after over three years being on YouTube. Anyway, so the next stage is to just cut your corners off, but not all the way to the corner of your grey board. If I got my ruler there, so you can see the corner there, I've left a good 1/8 of an inch there. So I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. If you get too close to the grey board, don't worry, there is an easy fix, as I've found to my cost. What you would do, so if I'd gone too close to this corner, get your corner that you've cut off, make sure you've got it the same side as the cover, and then glue that in that corner like that. Then when you bring your papers in, you won't see that grey, but I don't need to with this one, so we'll carry on. So I like to stretch my fibres a little bit before I start folding. So I'm just bending it up like this. Now this is quite thin grey board and my papers are still wet. So I will have a little bit of twisting on it if I'm not careful. So I'm going to fold it over and really reinforce that line as much as I can to stop it from twisting and the paper coming up from the glue. I'm going to do the same this side. Really score that down as well as I can. Take it over and I'm just pushing the glue into the paper and the grey board on that side. Once I've done that, I'm going to use, this one's got quite a nice, not sharp edge, but a nice edge on it. So I like to then, in the corner, perhaps you can see it easier on this one, in the corner you've got that little bit of an overlap. So I'm going to use this to push that down so that it folds quite nicely in that corner. And then I'll do the same at the top and I'll score all the way down using my grey board as my edge, and this just says to the paper this is what we're going to do next, so it gives it an idea what I'm expecting from it. And then when you fold it you get a slightly neater edge, although because the paper's still, because my glue hasn't dried, it has buckled up a little bit, but a good rub down on that side and it soon brings it back. And I'll do exactly the same on this side. Push that corner down, like a tiny little triangle there of this paper fold, and the same at the bottom there, and then run my bone folder up and down and bring that over. And you might be able to see it's just brought it up a little bit because the glue hasn't grabbed it quite yet because it's wet. Normally I'd leave it to one side, do the second one and then come back and do this part of the process. So now I've got that, I'm going to use my wet glue again, but as I said, if you prefer double-sided tape or tape runner, go ahead and do that. So bringing that over, gluing it down, really push. If you are using wet glue, really push it into the paper and to the grey board, because that grey board will soak it up, even if, like on this side, it hasn't been damaged at all. So I like to use plenty of glue because it is such a thirsty material to work with, this grey board. So, and if it oozes out a little bit, I'm not too worried. And then I'm going to do the same down this side, run my glue down that well there and across, and fold that over, and again use my bone folder to really push the glue into the paper and the grey board like that. Okay, and last one, and then I can put it to one side to dry. Bring that over, and if it pops up again, just use your bone folder to press it down. It'll soon grab. Okay, and really push that in, and if it starts to come up a little bit, don't worry too much. What I'm going to do next is I like to use, so this is my mouse mat, so I like to pop it under my mouse mat like that and put something on top just to keep it flat, and that will help it to stay flat while it dries. Okay, let me pop my glue away. I must get into the habit of always putting this back in to stop it from drying up. Okay, so the next stage, you're going to need a piece of A3 card. So this was something I picked up at the market for £1, I think it was. I think there was about 5 sheets of A3 in here. And take one sheet out, and I can pop that away so I can make some more later on. Grab your scoring tool, and we're going to score it on the long length. And as you can see, my papers hang off the edge of it. That's an easy fix. I'm going to grab my bone folder, and I'm going to score it at 7.5. Okay, so find my 7.5, and I'm going to go down as far as I can, reinforcing that score. And then when I get to the end of my scoreboard, I'm just going to stop short of it and just reinforce that. Then I'm just going to bring it up and flip it over, and as you can see, the score line's there. So I'm just going to go to the 7.5 and join that up. So nice and easy to join up. And if you want to, you can flip it back and do that again. Okay, so there's our scores done. I'll pop my scoreboard away, and then just fold it up. So decide which side you want on the inside of your concertina. So which one do you want here, which one do you want at the at the fold up, because this one has a slightly textured side. Don't know whether this is going to pick it up. Slightly textured that side and very smooth on that side. And it is paper rather than a card. You could use card, but I prefer paper with this one. So then I'm just going to fold it along that crease line like that, and reinforce that crease line all the way along like that. There we go. And once I've done that, I'm going to fold it, flip it over and fold it in half. Now this can be a little bit tricky because we're folding 2 layers here and 4 layers here and 2 layers there. So just line it up along that edge. This is why I prefer to use the folding rather than scoreboard, because sometimes in the scoreboard it's not quite in the middle as well. That's the other thing. And some A3 papers are different sizes to others, as I'm sure we've all found out to our cost. And once we've got to that stage, then take your top one and fold it. So there's my pockets, and fold that in like that. And we're making the concertina. So press down, keep that as straight as you can, and press down, and flip it over and do exactly the same on this side. Bring it over. Oh, sirens. And line that all up. Turn it that way so I can see a bit better. Hold it down and crease that down. And there we have the inside of our pockets. Now, the choice now is up to you. You can leave it like that and have regular pockets like this, or you can shape them if you want to, like I have with these. Okay, and I'll show you how I do it and make those shapes. So to make the inside shape, so let me just open it up. To make this, that's just a cut. So I'm going to open that up, fold that in half that way, and then using a ruler or your guillotine or whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm just going to see if I can find my blade, which seems to have vanished. Of course it has. Okay, so maybe I won't. Oh, there it is. Yes, I will. So I'm going to use my blade, and what I like to do is the width of my ruler. So there's my score line, and I'm just putting this side of my score line against that, and then I'll put this this side of my score line, of my ruler against this score line, and that way I know that I've got about 1.5 inches in and 1.5 inches up, because I'm going to cut on this side. So using my ruler as my guide, just very simply go through it 2 or 3 times just to make a nice, there we go, nice little cut like that. And all I need to do then is fold it back in, and there's my first pocket this side. Now then, to make these pockets on this side, it's just fold it backwards and forwards and back again, another concertina fold. So I'm taking the corner, so this corner, this end, and I'm going to fold it down. And it's personal preference how far you fold it down. You could take it all the way if you wanted. You could do it slightly less. You could just fold it down and leave it there if you want to. Just lining up that edge with my bottom edge and this edge with my crease mark there to try and get it fairly straight. And you've got your pocket there. Now you can leave it like that if you want to, but I like to have a little bit more interest, so I'm folding it back again. So I'll fold it back and again crease that down like that. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same at this end. And again, you can go as far down you want, or as you know, you can keep it the same as this one. You can make it slightly deeper, slightly shallower. Entirely up to you. It's your project, isn't it? Bring that one back and score that down like that. And you've got those two. Now you can glue them down, or as I have here, I've put a little rivet in there. I'm going to this time use 2 little split pins. So I'll grab my crocodile and I'm just going to open it out, because this makes it so much easier. Let's move them out of the way. And I'm going to come in like that, and simple little there. And while I've got it in my hand, I'm going to do this one. So again, following that point, coming down and popping a little hole in there, and then I'm just going to pop my split pins in. Now these split pins, nice match with my papers, so that I've got my contrast on there, and open it up like that. So that's one, and the same this side, and open it up like that. There we go. And there we, now you've got a choice. Now I don't do this, but it's entirely up to you. You can now run a line of glue along that crease mark if you want, and glue it there. And you can, if you want, run a line of glue along there so that it glues there. And if you really want to double check, you could put another line of glue there. I don't do any of that, but it is an option. Okay, so that's the inside of my pocket done. So all I need now is to bring out my front and back cover, which still not quite dry. I can just feel the damp, but it's nice and flat. So if it was directional paper, now I'm using very let me show you the pack. I'm using the capsule collection from Paper Mania, which I've had for a long time. It's spots and stripes and all sorts in there, but if you wanted to use a directional paper, then make sure you've got it the right way around, because we're now going to glue this onto there. So again, I'm going to grab my glue, and this time I'm going to apply it onto the back. So there's my pocket there. So my concertina, I'm going to put it on there. So all the way around the outside. And this will then cover up the edge and the rest of that grey board. So, oops, it more came out there than I wanted, but hey ho. Run it a bit closer to that edge because I want it to catch onto this paper here to hold it down and glue. I think I'm nearly out of glue on there. It just bunged up anyway. So I don't have to worry about direction on this paper, but just make sure if it is directional you go it the right way, and then just place it down slightly to the back. So this is my crease, this is my open edge, slightly to the back, not too much. But just line it all up and make sure that that's straight on the back edge there, like that. Just without standing over it, it's not quite so easy. Hold on 1 second, let's get that straight. There we go. So there is our straight. So ever so slightly closer to this edge than this edge for my open, but not too much. I'm just going to flip that over, and again using my bone folder, really reinforce that glue into the grey board and the paper. And again on this side, pushing it in like that. And then I'll do exactly the same on this side. So there's my other side. If it was directional paper, I'd check, make sure I've got the right way, and then using my glue all the way around on the lilac paper here, and making sure I've got those edges so that when I glue it down it'll stick to this paper, not just the grey board. Like that. And again I'm going to hover over, and this time I'm lining up this to make sure it's all level with that. So just going to stand it up so that makes sure that those edges are all level. I don't want it to twist, which it has a little bit there. Let's just straighten it up a bit more, and then in with your bone folder again like that. So that's the album done. So I'm going to show you now how I make the tags to go in here. So your tags will be from one sheet of 12 by 12 unless you want to put more tags into your album. I'm going to pop that to one side to dry, and I'll do exactly the same. I'll pop that there, and I'll pop my, because that's nice and weighty, so I just pop that over. Let me put this back in here. There we go. So I'm going to grab my paper pad, and I've already chosen the large dots, so that's coming out, and I'll get my guillotine out. So the first cut is very important if you want to get all 4 of your tags from here. So you're going to pop it in. Now your tags measure, let me just double check. Tags measure 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. So your first cut needs to be at 1 1/4, because I can now use this piece to make some tags. So I'm going to turn it round, and I'm now going to cut. So this is already 7 1/4, so I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4. And there's one. Make sure it's straight. 2. Is that 3 3/4? That's not 3. Oh, I've cut that at 2 3/4, haven't I? I bet. Oh no, 3 1/4. Oh no. Okay. Don't do as I say, not as I do. So there's another one. And then using this one, I'm going to cut this at 7 1/4. Like that. And then turn it and cut it at 3 3/4. So I'm a tag short, because that one is 1/2 inch too small, but you get the idea. So in fact, if I hadn't have cut it, that would have been, and I would have had a tiny little bit left over. Right, so let's pop that away. Rookie mistake. So I'll do this with 3 tags, but you get the idea. Now, what I always do when making my tags is I will take the first 2, pop them together like that, and getting my scissors, I will cut through 2 layers. This is just how I do it. Do it whatever works for you. So I'm just going to cut at roughly a 45-degree angle like that. Okay, now I know a lot of people then pick this up and twist it around and put it there and try and follow, but this way I just find this easier. So I've now got 2 tags like that, so I just flip that one across, and then I just follow that. So I've lined it up with that, flip it over, line it up with that one, and I end up with 2 tags that are the same, and then I'll use one of these to cut the other 2. So just grab my scissors, there's 1 and there's 2, and of course there would be another one if I hadn't looked and cut at 3 1/4 instead of 3 3/4. Oh dear, rookie mistake, but there you go, it happens to all of us. So then you've got your tags. I would then normally corner around the bottoms, helps if you open them. So I like to use the 1/2 inch on this, which is quite a wide curve on it, like that. But you know, use whatever works for you, or whatever corner rounder you've got, like that. And then let's do the last one, and then I usually bring them all together and use my crocodile. But if you haven't got a crocodile, use whatever you've got to hand. I sometimes use, can't find it, I've got some of the smaller hole punches, or even if you're a bit old school, you can use you know, your A4 paper punch that you buy from the stationery shop. So I'm going to line those 3 up, and nice thing about this is I can do them all in one go and get them around the same place for them. So that's my tags done. Let's get the album out, and then all I need to do now is make another one of these tags. I might actually use 2 of the large dots and get the other dotted paper. So I've got 2 large dots, and then maybe put 2 of the smaller dots in there. But yeah, so that's how you make your album. Too narrow. Oh well, never mind. So that's how you make your album, and then you just decorate it up. And like I say, if you want to put photo mats or journaling spots on there, you can, and then just decorate the rest up. This is my original, well, not the original one, this is my other one, but as you can see, I've already started to decorate it, and I've used ribbons on the top. and I've used rivets in here as well on these ones, so those ones and there. So yeah, so a great little project. Like I say, very simple to make. Don't make a rookie mistake. Measure twice, cut once. And yeah, so have great fun. So I'm going to finish decorating this one because it's a gift, and this one I'm going to pop in my stash and maybe use that for a gift at another time, but I won't decorate it up just yet. But yeah, quick and easy, very simple, and you know, very easy to get a hold of the bits and pieces to make it as well. Anyway, I will leave it there, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.